You gotta be kidding me! Ladies and gentlemen of the Rage Nation, I gather with you today to let you know that I was wrong. After spending a week of spreading libel and slander and lies to each and every one of you, my YouTube videos and my stream, I'm here to inform you that there are other legendaries aside from the Natural Order's will. Let's get into it. For those of you who I've had the pleasure of interacting with, either in comments or live on stream, you know how vehemently I've been preaching the Natural Order's Will, or Now Legendary, as the end-all be-all legendary for Guardian Druids. However, upon finally getting into 14s, 15s, and 16s during last week's extremely punishing Fortified week, I have found the error in my ways. Yes, I do mean that for those of you not yet pushing, I would say 13s and up yet, I find my output, survivability, and versatility in Keystones is still better with the Now, and especially for Tyrannical weeks as well, so just go ahead and keep them equipped for this week. But for those cracking out 15 keys during Fortified weeks, it's time to look at the shortcomings of our beautiful Barkskin build. If you'll direct your attention to the screen that just popped up, you'll watch as I get absolutely destroyed in a plus 15 Sanguine Depths run performed last night on stream. This was also the run that got me off stream due to just how badly it spanked my ass. So as a Guardian Druid, what do you do when 34 seconds is just not short enough of a cooldown for major defensive in dungeons where every single pack you come across poses a serious threat on your life? Do we kite? Do we run with 3 boomies for infinite treants? Hell no! You throw on our most defensive legendary and change up your talents and take the hits. I'm of course talking about Ursoc's Fury Remembered. To clarify, this is not our maximum aggression build. Our focus needs to be on the bubble gained from thrashes with this build in order to have a rolling buffer between the onslaught of enemies in these fortified dungeons and your precious HP. Also to preface this, I will never support cookie cutter builds for any class, spec, or dungeon. I think it is on the players to be innovative and forward thinking enough to understand how stats and talents work with respect to their party, enemies, and environment, and be confident enough to play around with each to test what works best for them and their group. This build is one I have found works especially well with fortified dungeons where the damage is non-stop for the entirety of the run. Alright, we're just going to take a quick look at the things that are changing from the build that I've been advertising. Now, we're going off of Brambles and going to Blood Frenzy because we want as much rage as possible to be spending on Iron Furs, and I'll show you why that's important in a second. Then on the 25 level row, I've swapped off of my mobility and gone to Renewal on those Fortified weeks because that 30% heal is massive, especially in situations like Prideful where you can just tell your healer, no, I've got this, focus on somebody else. Then down on your 35 row, it depends. Mighty Bash, Mass Entanglement, Heart of the Wild, it really all comes down to the number of kicks and interrupts and stuns your party has to answer whatever casts need to be interrupted in the dungeon you're dealing with. Then on your level 45 row, Survival of the Fittest, baby, we're gonna miss you, but Earthwarden we need, alright? We need those reductions in damage taken the entirety of the time. We can't survive on a 34-second cooldown, as short as that may be. We need it even shorter. Let's get it every single time a Thrash goes out. And then obviously Rend and Tear we're keeping because Thrash is gonna be the focal point of this build. Alright, now to look at our Soulbind conduits. We're still sticking with Theatar for those 2 endurance conduits. However, we're switching off of Tough as Bark as we're not using Survival of the Fittest anymore and the reduction of Barkskin's cooldown matters less. We're going to be using Well-Honed Instincts here in order to get one of those free Frenzied Regens back that we no longer have from our Natural Order's Will. Then we're going Unchecked Aggression so we can get some more haste. The haste is important for Thrash, and we're going to get into secondary stats here in a second. And then down beyond that, we're going to get into Layered Main. Again, going back to our Blood Frenzy, this is why it's so important to just generate a ton of Thrash, a ton of Rage, is so that we can get that Layered Main going as much as possible. We'll get 2 stacks 11.2% of the time every time that we click those. So we're going to be just Ironford out of our brains, hopefully have a lot more defenses rolling with this build. And now let's take a look at our secondary stats so we can talk about how those come into play. The main difference with secondary stats with this build is the priority you are now placing on haste over mastery. In past builds, I've been prioritizing mastery for its effect on healing received and overall HP. However, now we have a build where every Thrash we throw out grants us a shield based on damage done, and we have talented into abilities that increases rage generated per Thrash, meaning more Iron Furs which have a chance to double proc. Thrash and Frenzied Regen are our only 2 abilities which haste decreases the cooldown on, so our new stat priority for this build is Agi, or item level, is greater than your versatility, which is equal to haste, which is greater than mastery, which is equal to crit. Remember, rings and neck are exempt from the item level requirements as they don't have primary stats, so choose the one that has the best stats for you. I have Mastery and Crit balanced in this build as you definitely want to increase healing received via Mastery, but your critical chance on your Thrashes will also increase the size of the bubble gained. I want to reiterate, this is a build that is specifically designed for extremely high fortified keystones. Your Natural Order's Will is still going to work very, very well for lower keystones and tyrannical weeks especially. However, I will continue to get you guys the most up-to-date information as I'm able to get my hands on it, and I hope this build works out for you the same way that it did for me last night when I finally got around to testing it. Guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to hit that little thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe. It helps me out more than you could know. We're nearing 3,000 subscribers now on YouTube before the new year. I'm blown away by the love and support. You guys are amazing. If you really liked what you saw here, head on over to my Twitch. I'm live there doing all the stuff we talk about here, just live and able to communicate and interact with you. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comment or head on over there and ask me live. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. Enjoy it. Be well to each other. And remember, we rage because we care. I'll see you guys.